Well, hello everybody. We're gonna try this one more time. I apologize for that. This technology can be temperamental sometimes. Hopefully, I'm getting everyone now. And so, if you would go ahead and share this, I'm not gonna be with you long. It's about 5 or 6 minutes, and I promise you we'll be done. So if you go ahead and share the link with everyone, I have a lot of information I want to communicate in a very short window of time. And so, appreciate all of you being with me, and we'll get started in just a minute. Well, I don't see any of my folk jumping on, and so we're trying to work all that out. All right, I think you're beginning to jump on now, so great. Let me check one other outlet, and then we will go ahead and jump on. I'm going to check YouTube real quick because we're asking our members if you guys would consider letting that be your preferred platform. We think we can really serve each other well together on that platform. So let me just check YouTube, and assuming that's good to go, we're going to get started. And it is. So great. All right, great. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone's having a great end of the year. Happy New Year's Eve, and looking forward to us worshiping together in just a few hours. And so I want to say a few things. You guys probably already know this is about a pastor's heart and my concern for the COVID numbers. Whenever you shatter a one-day record by thousands of new cases, that obviously leaves me concerned. And I get the controversy of all of this. And so I hope that you'll hear my heart. I hope that none of us will be overly judgmental regarding each other because none of us had been through this before. I fully suspected and hoped anyway that we would be on the other side of this. And we're not quite there, even though I do believe that these numbers with this most recent variant is going to be peaking really soon. But I'm concerned about the numbers. And so I've made a few adjustments in terms of how we'll move forward. I wanted the congregation to hear that from me at one time. And so before I make those announcements, let me frame this with scripture. A couple passages of scripture jumped out for me, and I jotted them down. One is Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Paul says, I've learned in whatsoever state that I find myself to be content. Paul writes to the church at Rome in Romans chapter 8. Most of us know this. Verse 28, all things work together for good. He talks about, Luke in the book of Acts talks about the life of King David. And he says, after David, having served God in his generation. My point is that if we're not careful, we can try to maneuver or manipulate ourselves out of the season God has us in. God is sovereign, and God could fully choose to not have us in a season of an international pandemic. But God, for whatever reason, in his sovereignty, in his providence, have chosen not to do that. This is the season we're in, and this is the season that we are tasked as a church to figure out how we serve God in this generation. This is the generation we're in. A lot of times we some of our most favorite passages of scripture to quote are the very ones we never want to be in a situation to live out. So for example, all things work together for good. I only really get to quote that until I'm bumped into some of the all things that I'd rather not be in. And such is the case also with learning to be content with whatever state we're in, right? And so this is the state we're in, and I want us to recognize that this is going to come to pass, but right now it's not past. Do you know that 400 times in the Bible it says, and it came to pass, which means there were some seasons where things were lingering and things were hanging around. And so because the COVID numbers have shattered anything prior to now, it's causing me to make some changes in our worship schedule. I know this is a temporary schedule, and I hope you'll trust my leadership. As your pastor, I have tried to love the congregation. I've tried to lead forth in a way that is sacrificial. leading the way, recognizing that we often don't get to have our preferred things that to have happen. Like I think the hallmark or one of the hallmarks of our faith is sacrificial living. And so we'd all like to go on doing the things that matter to us the most. But the reality of it is we're in a season of sacrifice. I've also tried to love you well by how I preach and by sharing the whole counsel of Scripture. And so we preach in series and we teach in series so that we touch as much of the Bible as possible. And so in my effort to love you, to lead you well, sometimes it means making very difficult decisions. This for me is one of those difficult decisions. The reason I'm making the decision to change our worship schedule for the month of January and beginning tonight at Watch Night is because of the increase in the COVID cases. It leaves our most vulnerable citizens really at risk. And I recognize that the variant is not as dangerous, it's just a lot more contagious. It does still leave people vulnerable, particularly our senior citizens, particularly the people that sometimes are least able to protect themselves. I think it also puts a burden, and as Christians, we should never be trying to put a burden on anyone or anything. I think it puts a burden on our healthcare system. It puts a burden on our first responders. It puts a burden on our nurses and our doctors. And all of us listening to this or who will share this will have family members, God forbid, that may have a chronic illness and they may have to call fire rescue to come get them and take them to the ER, or they may be looking for a bed, a pediatric bed for a child. And because the COVID numbers are so high and the hospitalizations are so high, less and less of those beds are available. And so God forbid your mom, or grandmom, or aunt, or uncle, or any person that you love is in need of a chronic bed. We want to make sure that we've done our part by not gathering too quickly so that that bed can be made available. And so we're making a few adjustments. The first adjustment is Watch Night service tonight. There will be one Watch Night service. It will begin at 11 o'clock p.m. tonight. We will not gather at our Rocky Mount campus. We will not gather at our Tarboro campus. We will gather only on our e-campus. Can we thank God that God has given us options, that when we go through these seasons, we can still worship together? I'm asking you, if you're able to join me on the YouTube platform. We'll still be on other outlets, but it would be great if we could all come together in one platform. So at 11 p.m., we'll be worshiping online at the eCampus only. This will be an abbreviated service. It will basically be our media team and me. And so there'll be no live music, there'll be no live band, there'll be no live vocals. We will do a review, a preview, a replay, a year in review of 2021. After the countdown, they'll play a few minutes of a replay. We can see all the great things that God did in 2021. And then I'll be up preaching, and I'll take us right up to midnight. I'll pray a few minutes before midnight, give us an opportunity to lift our offering, and then we'll celebrate going into the new year together. So tonight, I want you to join us at 11 o'clock p.m. on our eCampus for our year-ending Watch Night service. Similar, and let me say one more thing. As you know, we've made it a practice. How many of you remember when we took the sacrificial offering up for Bennett College? When we did that a few years back, really made a decision that God had given us a platform to leverage our congregation at year end so that we could provide significant mission support to those who were in need. This year, our offering, I'm asking you to give sacrificially tonight. This year, the offering will be going in support of the families that have lost their jobs and that were working for QBC. And so I'm asking you to be sacrificial. We're working with other churches in the Ministerial Alliance. We're working with United Way and Carolina Gateway Partnerships and the Chamber of Commerce to be a blessing to those families. And I want to encourage you to join me tonight on our eCampus in our sacrificial giving as we end the year so that we can be prepared to be a blessing to those families. Similarly, on January 2nd, which is our first Sunday of the year, we will do the same thing. It will be just me preaching in studio. There'll be no live music, no live vocals. We'll have everything pre-recorded from previous times. And then beginning in January 9th, which is the second Sunday, we'll begin slowly bringing back small portions of our music department and band, small portions of our staff. We'll do that for the remainder of the month of January. While we're doing this in the month of January, I will be announcing to you later on in this month what February looks like. What I can commit to you is this. Beginning in February, we will go back to a hybrid model. We will go back to an in-person and online platform, okay? Beginning in February. So this is a January decision, but we're going to do it for the entire month of January. So we're not wondering, well, what are we going to do third Sunday? What are we going to do fourth Sunday? We'll just commit to this for the month of January. Additionally, we will do the same thing for our E4 conference. The date might get delayed just a little bit, but we're working now with all of our presenters and ministers and pastors to be able to help us do a virtual platform for our E4 conference. Let me conclude with this. I want to encourage you to still gather together on campus in small groups of 20 or less. Still do your Thrive group. Still do your small group. Still gather together in district meetings. Still gather together, handful of us, 10, 15, up to 20 people. The campus will be open for you to do that. We just want to limit the large number of people. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I made this decision was because of the high attendance we had on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, it's really wonderful seeing all of you, was the highest attendance we've had since we've come back in person. I know tonight, if we were to open, the numbers would really put us at risk. And so I want to make sure that we're managing all of that correctly. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and call the church and we'll be happy to try to address them. I'm grateful for you. I love you. I hope you will see this for what it is. A pastor's love for people. A pastor's concern for people. A pastor tied more to mission than method. And so our mission is to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. Our mission, right? Our vision is for everyone to thrive. And our mission is people, empowering people and communities in all areas of life to the glory of God. We're going to find a way to do this digitally for just another month. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your sacrificial giving. Thank you for all you do. I will check back all of our platforms and address any questions that may have come today. I love you. Stay safe. Please, I will end with this. If you have not been vaccinated, if you have not received your booster, let me tell you where we're headed. We will suspend in person for the month of January. There's not a lot of testing available right now, so we don't even know how many more people are positive that's not even being registered because they can't get tested. So we're asking our members to finish getting vaccinated this month, get your booster this month, and then beginning in February, what we're asking respectfully is that for those who have been vaccinated and boosted, we don't want to keep you out any longer. We want to create a platform where if you want to come back in person, you can do that beginning in February. And for those of our members who are not feeling comfortable yet being vaccinated or having your booster or your schedule doesn't permit, then we would respectfully ask those members to continue to worship with us on the eCampus. And that way, all of us are in a safe place and all of us really get to enjoy everything that God is doing in our life. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. Stay safe. Please mask up. Please be smart. And I will see you online at 11 p.m. tonight. I love you.